Great. Hello. Welcome to the Bundesliga show, the fantasy football edition. And I'm here, as you can see, with Runa. Hello, Runa. How's it going over there in Denmark?
Fine, thanks. We were just talking about Freiburg's impressive win in Greece.
Yep.
So another impressive result for a German team. So a lot of reason to smile if you're a Bundesliga fan.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Union Berlin is going to be kicking off just as we speak. Do you fancy them to get a result in Braga, Runa?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like everything goes their way, at least in the Bundesliga. But we'll see with Europe and how they cope with playing in two tournaments. That could be tough for them a bit down the road. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, on to the fantasy football, which is why most of you guys are here today. So yeah, obviously week 7 ahead of us, the last weekend before the first international break of this season. So yeah, obviously we're going to get some of Runa's tips for the defenders, midfielders and attackers for who you need to bring in the team. So first of all, Runa, how are you doing? How's your team going after 6 weeks? And are you doing quite well in the standings? Or?
I was off to a pretty poor start, at least for my standards. But I think I'm up to 175 in the world now. So I guess that's respectable. I usually end in the top 100. So that's my goal as usual. But it's been going in the right direction for the past few weeks. So yeah, that's always something, I guess. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I think for me it was the opposite. Last weekend was a nightmare for me. I thought I had a really good team, and I brought in the 2 guys from Werder Bremen, Fulkrug and Weiser. And obviously it wasn't a good week for them, was it? Obviously losing at home to Augsburg. And then I kept Mane in the team, and obviously he didn't start against Stuttgart, so that was a bit of a mare. And then I had 2 Freiburg players as well, Grifo and Jong. And yeah, they didn't have the best day either. Freiburg obviously being held to a 0-0 draw. So yeah, it wasn't my best weekend, but hopefully this weekend is going to be a little bit better. So yeah, hi to a few of you guys in the chats as well. Bundes 21. Yeah, good to see you back again as well. Nlahala. Yeah, patiently waiting for the most informative fantasy show. There you go. Yeah. Abdullah also saying hi, hello everyone, and Rory as well. I don't know where you're watching from, Rory, but evening chaps. Yeah, good to see you again. Okay, so yeah, straight onto the defenders. Let's have a look at that. So I'm going to put them on the bottom of the screen. So Runa, over to you. What do you think for the defenders?
Yeah, I thought I'd just start with a little short goalkeeper update. Just a few mentions. Looks like Alexander Meyer will start for Dortmund again. And he's very cheap, of course. And then also something I noticed in the German media recently. Bochum's caretaker coach Heiko Butcher said that. He refused to guarantee Manuel Riemann a starting place, which is actually quite interesting, as he's been a really solid fantasy performer this week. From my own perspective, I feel like he'll start, but I would be a little worried if I had Riemann in my squad, especially if he was my only goalkeeper. So yeah, something to consider there if you're a Riemann owner. Moving on to the defenders. My budget pick is Aaron Martin. And yeah, he and Mainz didn't have the best game last week. I had a real shocker against Hoffenheim. But of course, Alexander Hack received a red card in the first half, and that made things extremely difficult for them. Yeah, as we know with Aaron, he's capable of racking up really good points when he's on his game. He's on set piece duty, and as we saw on match day 5, he's just capable of doing extremely well when he's having a good game. He scored 22 points against Gladbach on match day 5, which is amazing for a defender. So I think I generally like to have a player for the Friday night fixture, and I think Aaron is a good shout this week from that game, Mainz game against Hertha. And my mid-price pick this week is Lusar Masraoui from Bayern, who looks set to start at right back this week against Augsburg. He came on to replace Benjamin Pavard against Barcelona, and I think he actually had a pretty good game. He also did pick up 10 points against Stuttgart last week from playing 60 minutes or so. His ownership is really low because he hasn't been starting for the season so far. So he's a lot cheaper than Bayern's other starting defenders, and his ownership is lower too, and he looks almost certain to start. So maybe a good short-term option here ahead of the international break. And then my premium pick is Jeremy Frimpong. He's not actually that much more expensive than Mazraoui, but I just had to give them both a mention this week because after what we saw from Frimpong against Atletico, he came on to set up 2 goals, and he as we know, he's just a player with amazing potential, one of the highest ceilings in defense in the game, I think. And in addition, he's being tipped to start on the wing and on the wing against Werder at home. So I think Frimpong is a really, really good option this week.
Yeah, definitely. I think for Leverkusen, it's just about kind of picking up. Obviously, Sioane, you could see how happy he was at the end of that Atletico game. He realised he pretty much saved his job with that win. Obviously, they'll need another win this weekend as well to kind of safeguard him a little bit more. Just a few questions coming in as well. Yeah, about you already kind of touched on it before, but any updates on Pavard? Is he going to play, or is he pretty much definitely out this week?
Yeah, he's back in training as far as I could see, but I think he'll get rested. It also depends on Upamecano, how he's doing. He's also a bit knackered after picked up a knock in the Barcelona game. So either Upamecano or Pavard will probably get a rest here, and Mazraoui will almost certainly start. So if I had Pavard in my team, I would sub him out because I think his chances of playing look quite slim at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's always the problem with Bayern, isn't it? Because they've got such a stacked squad of quality. Like you don't always know who's going to start. I mean, as I said before, I fell foul of picking Mane last week, and then obviously he didn't start. So, yeah, another question in as well about David Raum. What do you think about Raum? His performance last week under the new coach looked promising. Is he worth bringing in this week?
Yeah, I think so. It's actually, I think it's quite funny that when he gets moved back to left back from the left wing back position, then we see his real potential because he actually played mostly as a wing back under Tedesco, and now he's just playing as a regular left back. But yeah, that performance was really impressive in terms of fantasy output, especially considering, I mean, he didn't score or he didn't assist in that game. So, and he also picked up a yellow card. So that says something about the potential he has. He's so good going forward, as we saw for Hoffenheim last season. So definitely worth a shout, especially against Gladbach this week. They're struggling with some injuries in defense. So I think he could have a pretty good game there.
Yeah, definitely. And a question in from our very own Rory as well. Yeah, watching from a service station. I think he's driving down to London today. It's sure to be a banging show. Yeah. Do we dodge Dortmund versus Schalke because it's a derby? Yeah. What do you think about that?
Nah, I wouldn't. I feel pretty confident about Dortmund, so I wouldn't do that. If we look at the bookmakers tips for the week, then we can see that the Dortmund are among the biggest favorites, and I guess they are for a reason. I also think they look very good in the Champions League, despite playing Manchester City, a very difficult game for them. So I think they'll be hungry, especially to redeem themselves after that late City comeback at home against their rivals. I think they should have the upper hand, at least on paper. So I think there are a few quite good picks from Dortmund.
Yeah, I thought they were so unlucky last night. I was gutted for them watching that game. They were really unlucky. Another question as well from Jeff. Just load that up. Yeah. Do Union Berlin possible rotations make Rierson a risky ad? He seems to have become a locked-in starter. Do you think they will make rotations? And also,
yeah. Actually, I was thinking exactly the same when I saw Union's lineup this evening, because unlike Gieselman and Trimmel, he's actually playing against Braga. And I have Rierson in my team at the moment, and I felt quite confident that he would start now that he has started 5 games in a row. As you point out, Jeff, he's emerged as a pretty regular starter, but now that he's playing tonight, I'll consider subbing him out because, it's difficult to predict what Urs Fischer will do, but I mean, that could be an indication that he will get a rest. So definitely a reason for concern and something to think about.
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases, the German teams, they don't like players to play too much football, do they? So they often do rotate after European games. So we'll have to see on that one. So yeah, let's swiftly move on to our midfielders this week. So yeah, I'm going to switch them onto the screen. So what do you think, Rune? Who should we bring into the midfield this week?
Yeah, my budget pick this week is a true differential option, Jean-Paul Boetius from Hertha. And I'm not saying you should bring him in necessarily, but I feel he could be a quite good differential. With Stuart Serdar set to miss out, he should start in midfield for Hertha. And yeah, he's an attacking midfielder. We've seen him at Mainz, and we know what he can do. He's capable of scoring goals and setting up goals. And yeah, his ownership is 0%. So like Aaron, he's playing that Friday night game. So if you want an option, if you want a player from that game, I think he's a quite good option. Actually, at least if you want a true differential, it could go well and could go bad, but at 6 million, he might be worth taking a punt on. And yeah, my mid-price pick is Julian Brandt, and that's again because he's more of a differential compared to some of his teammates. Most of us, a lot of us at least, have Marco Reus locked in our teams already, and Jude Bellingham is a quite good option too. I think he's scoring goals and setting up assists and very involved winning duels as well. But if they're both above 30% ownership. So if you're looking for an alternative to those players, Julian Brandt is a quite good option. I think only owned by 3% and looks set to play as a winger for Dortmund against Schalke. So maybe worth picking up. And yeah, my premium pick is Leon Goretzka this week. And it's pretty much the same as with Mazraoui. He's been out for a while. Goretzka has been out with an injury and has fought his way back, and he earned a start last week against Stuttgart. Didn't look that impressive, but then he made a real difference, I think, after coming on against Barcelona. I think he showed that he's getting closer to his top level after his injury, and I think he should be nailed on to start alongside Kimmich after that performance. Sabitzer looked pretty weak, I think, in the first half. And Bayern really need to start picking up wins in the Bundesliga. I'm sure they will be hungry to beat Augsburg this week. So, and especially because Goretzka is owned by just 3%, I think he could be worth picking up.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously a few kind of noises coming out of Bayern Munich. A few of the midfielders in particular aren't that happy as well with a lack of game time. I think Gravenberg came out and said that. Would you expect to start from him maybe? Obviously, I don't think he's only started one game so far this season, hasn't he? So do you think he could get a start potentially?
Not this week. I think I'm pretty certain that Goretzka will get the start because, as I said, they really need to start winning games in the Bundesliga. They have drawn too many games recently, and Goretzka played really well against Barcelona, I think. And actually, he also downplayed some of those reports claiming that some of the players were dissatisfied in a post-match interview. So of course he has to do that, but. Yeah, I just want to mention that he said that from his side, he understood why he wasn't starting against Barcelona, for example, and that Sabitzer started there.
Yeah. Okay, a question in from Abdullah as well. So time to move on from Nkunku. I think you asked this one last week as well, and it's a fair point. Yeah, huge disappointment in the last 3 games, including the Champions League against Real Madrid. What do you think?
I agree that he's been disappointing lately. We've been used to him like scoring double figures every week, and he hasn't been doing that lately. Personally, I think I'll keep him for this game, and then I'll maybe consider it for the international break where we get free transfers. Because, as I said, Gladbach have some injuries in defense. Ko Itakura is missing out, and I feel like he has been their most important defender so far this season. No, they still managed to keep a clean sheet against Freiburg, but Leipzig looked very good in the Bundesliga last week, and also looked quite good in the Champions League, I think, against a difficult opponent. So, yeah, I'd keep him.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, just another point in from Bundes21. He says, also Rosa uses Nkunku in a new position, which is not as effective as before. Yeah, so that could be one of the reasons why he's not getting as many points. But obviously, Rosa's only just come in as well, so it could potentially change. But yeah. Definitely. Okay, so let's move on to the strikers then. So, Rune, do you want to talk us through our strikers this week?
Yeah, my budget pick is Jordan, because I feel like he's maybe flown a bit under the radar because of Geraldo Becker, the fact that Becker has been doing so well. Jordan is a lot cheaper and it's more differential because he's owned by just 6%, and he's actually been quite amazing this season in the game. 10 points per game on average so far. I think that's very good if we look at his price. And also, I feel it's important this week to have some players from the standalone fixtures, and he plays a standalone fixture on Sunday against Wolfsburg at home. So I'd definitely look to bring in some players from those standalone fixtures on Sunday. There are 3 of them, and he's a good shout from the Union Wolfsburg game. And my mid-price pick is another player who will be involved on Sunday, Jorginho Ruta. And as I've said before, I'm a big fan of him. I think he's a player with something special talent, and he's already shown that a number of times this season. Most recently against Mainz, and Hoffenheim are really strong at home. They're facing a difficult opponent in Freiburg, but yeah, they are at home again, and Freiburg may have tired legs after their game in Greece tonight. Let's see if they rotate on a few positions. So I think it would be nice to be able to sub Ruta on at that stage of the match day. And yeah, he's owned by just 1%, so also a very good differential potentially. Yeah, then finally, I'm going to recommend Patrick Schick again, because I feel, yeah, he let us down earlier this season. Many fantasy Bundesliga managers were really annoyed after he didn't do as well as we hoped, but I think he's starting to look better, just like Leverkusen are. I'm sure they will take confidence from that win against Atletico, and he's actually scored 2 Bundesliga games in a row. He also scored against Brugge. He was offside by a toenail, so that was ruled out, but I feel like he's starting to regain his scoring touch, and Leverkusen play a Werder side who have conceded at least 2 goals in 4 of their 6 league matches this season. So I'm pretty sure Leverkusen will score in that game with the confidence they should have after their win over Atletico, and they really need a win too. So Patrick Schick could be a really good option, only owned by 7%. So if you're one of those that have him and he ends up scoring a hat-trick, let's see if he does. But I mean, we know he has the potential to do so. So I think he's worth considering.
Yeah, it seems a little bit low for Patrick Schick, 7%, especially considering he's scored in his last 2 games, doesn't it? But yeah, he could definitely be and I can't believe Ruta is only owned by 1% as well. That just seems crazy low, doesn't it? But yeah, another question on Hoffenheim as well from Jeff. He says Baumgartner or Prömel versus Freiburg. The SCF had quite a letdown versus Gladbach after the Europa League game last week. Wondering about the same this time. Obviously, they played in Greece tonight, having won 3-0 in Olympiacos. What do you think? Who would you pick there, Rune?
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. With regard to Freiburg, I mean, they might not do as well on Sunday after having played this game tonight. So I also kind of back Hoffenheim to get a result there, and yeah, I'd probably go for Baumgartner because I think he's the more attacking option of the 2. I mean, Prömel is also good at getting into the box and finishing off chances, but I feel Baumgartner has a higher potential.
Yeah, another question as well. I think you mentioned last week bringing Gnabry into the team. Is he a keep or a sell this week?
Yeah, at the moment it doesn't look like he will start, but yeah, with the uncertainty at the moment, I would probably take him out because he's just too expensive to have if he doesn't play. But let's wait and see what Nagelsmann says tomorrow. And also, last week we saw that it was reported already on Friday afternoon some of the changes that Nagelsmann was planning to make. For example, that Mané would probably get a rest and that Pavard would probably get a rest. So if something similar happens and we somehow get some information that increases the chances of Gnabry playing, then would consider keeping him. But from what it looks like now, I would look to sell him, considering his high price.
Yeah, and a question from myself as well, because obviously I've got Mane in the team. Do you expect to see him back in the starting lineup this weekend, or do you think he could be given another rest?
Yeah, I think he'll play. I just think Bayern really want to get him going, want him to start scoring goals and show some more confidence. I think a game against Augsburg could, give him a positive experience, because it looks like he's been a bit off lately. Wasn't that impressed with him against Barcelona either. But yeah, he's a player they really want to succeed. So from what I can see, looking at the predicted lineups elsewhere, it looks like he's set to start.
Yeah, another question about the goalkeeper as well from Abdullah. I think you already mentioned him earlier, Riemann. Yeah, but Jan Sommer or Riemann, who is the better pick in the long run? Goalkeepers become a huge differential in the overall ranking. So who would you go for there?
Yeah, that's actually true, Abdullah. I think I've been underestimating the goalkeepers a bit, because they've really made a difference this season so far. And of course, both goalkeepers have done amazingly well. So it's difficult to say. I think if we look at the chances of getting points for shots saved, I think Riemann has a higher chance, because he's playing for a weaker team, and Bochum are more likely to concede shots. And he's also a bit cheaper. I think Sommer's price is quite steep. But then again, if he keeps performing like he has so far and picking up those kind of figures, then he's worth every penny. But I think Sommer in principle is a bit too expensive, considering he's a goalkeeper. So I would probably prefer Riemann, all things considered, at least if he keeps his spot. As I said earlier, the interim coach actually, he refused to guarantee that Riemann would start. So let's wait and see. But I assume he'll keep his place, and then I think he's probably a better option than Sommer, all things considered, including the price.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So yeah, I think that pretty much brings to a close our show today. Yeah. So thanks a lot for all your questions. Again, a really, really good number of questions in today. Let's hope that Runa's advice is going to get us all flying up that scoreboard this weekend. So yeah, just to close the show, if you enjoyed what you saw today, then remember to check out @OverTheBarFB and @OverTheBarExtra. Also, otbfootball.net, which is the main kind of piece for our work. You can see articles on just about everything football related on there. And don't forget as well to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We're slowly kind of building up the subscribers. So keep on there. We're getting really, really good numbers of views as well on certain shows, especially the watch-alongs and these fantasy football shows as well. But remember to check out the rest of our stuff too on there. I think... yeah, but thanks a lot. And again, thanks to Runa for joining us. And we will see you again next week. Ciao, guys.
Bye-bye.